Hi there and welcome to Familia Gari or FG. This channel is aimed to give you reviews on cars that are particularly targeted towards families. If you have a family and you're looking for a car within the market, I'm hoping that these reviews will be able to give you an idea. The main way the channel started was when I was looking for a replacement car, and then I realized some of the info that I'm collecting, I can be able to get them for the common Kenyan market. So here's episode 1 with a Mitsubishi Colt from 2005. So the 2005 Colt is quite a basic vehicle. It doesn't have a lot of the features that you really see in the new cars, such as parking assist or even the side mirror indicators. So this is basic. It's as basic as it comes. These wheels come in a 14-inch. You can be able to take them up, I believe, to 15 or 16 for Colts. As you can see, plastic hubs, nothing much over there. No sensors on the top. And this is one of the awesome features this particular car comes with. It's a border magnet. Quite a number of scratches and that thing as well. Ground clearance, according to Ruthless Focus for Kenyan roads, tends to be about 6 inches. And for the Colt, this one comes in at about 5.9 inches, just 0.1 short. And when you say 6 inches, we are talking about most of the urban roads. If you go out into the rural areas, you might be talking about 8 or 9 inches. The rear of the Colt has quite a common design that you can be able to spot it from a distance. We've got all the bulb lights, no LEDs. You get a rear wiper, you get a third brake light, no spoiler for these particular models, but you can find some people who've modified and added it. For this particular one, I also added in a reverse camera, just in case I'm driving around and there are kids playing. When it comes to the fuel and fuel consumption, the Colt comes at it's an average 47-liter fuel tank that gives you roughly about 17.2 kilometers per liter combined. When you're driving in the city, you get about 7.5 liters for every 100 kilometers, and on the highway, you get about 5.1 liters for every 100 kilometers. In terms of the boot space, so the door is hand operated. You do have your grip over here, just so that you can have a better handle of it. Then, I need to update the shocks on this one. So I get 155 liters, that is with the chairs all set up, and when folded down, you get about 760 liters. So the folding, this is a 50-50 fold for the chairs. Tupate vizuri. Get a 50-50 fold. Oops, wrong one. Get a 50-50 fold on the chairs, which is quite a lot of space, especially if you have additional items to put in. With the chairs folded up, you can be able to put in your stroller and one suitcase. In terms of traveling with suitcases, that's likely around 2 suitcases that will be fitting in. So you get 4 tie-down points in the trunk, and the middle you've been given some space also if you have long objects to stretch them out inside. Boot folding sequence. Move these 2 heads first of all, and then the chairs fold in a 50-50 way. That way, that way. Once that's done, there's a latch at the back. You just pull it, and then you can move it forwards and backwards. So with this particular, you move it all the way forward, and then you pull on this particular tag and lift it all the way. So always make sure you remove the heads first. Just realize this today, and I've had this car for 3 years. I need to clean this place up. In the back, the Colt is quite generous when it comes to space. As you can see, the chair moved it all the way to the back. And as a 5'7" person, I still have enough space for my knees and more than enough space on the top. You get a holder for 4 kilogram, and Colt went for the bench seats. So you get a 5-seater. Middle person doesn't get the headrest, but they do get a seatbelt. The seats for this model don't come with ISOFIX for setting up child seats. However, you can still use the safety belt to secure them. Moving the front seat forwards and the rear passenger back gets you a small area for a baby to stand or sit. In terms of legroom, with the rear passenger seat in the normal position and front passenger far back, a 5'7" person will get ample legroom. Unfortunately, if you have a lot of cargo and the seat is moved to the front, even getting in will be a challenge. For trunk space, I measure the length using my forearm, which is roughly 16 inches. Moving the seat in front gives you roughly 6 inches in length as an extra. Overall, if you're in the market for something small, decent, fun to drive, big enough for the family, I would definitely recommend looking into the Colt for starters for initial families. This particular one, this is a 2005 1.3 95 horsepower version. It's a DBA Z21 model. So far, I'm loving the experience. One of the best things about it, it's driving using the sport mode. Regular driving mode, of course, it's great. Sport mode is really fun. This is a great option if you're in the market for a car that doesn't consume so much fuel, doesn't require a lot of maintenance, and it also isn't expensive on the maintenance side as well. At Auto Express, this car takes me for about 4,000 shillings. As I mentioned before, in terms of power, this is a 95 horsepower version, the one that I have. You can step it up all the way up to a 1.5 liter Ralliart version. That one goes for that one pushes it to about 145 horsepower, minus tuning. So you can imagine how much power you get when you tune it up. In terms of gear options, you get either the optional of automatic or you get the manual version. For the manual version, the gear is down in the middle. You also get 2 cup holders there as well. If you decide to go for the automatic version, the gear is on the steering wheel column. It's not a paddle shift, but it actually is fun to drive. I mean, I can shift gears using my leg. That is shifting from sport to drive. Don't do that when it's from drive to normal, risky stuff. From my driving feel, it's really powerful when you're above 40 kilometers per hour and you want to put in all the power for overtaking in sport mode. Definitely fun. It's a definitely fun experience. Speedo goes from 0 to 180, so if you are team 220 on Mombasa Road, this is not your car. And also, don't speed. Speeding kills. Storage itself is quite limited for this particular model. On the door side, you have a small panel. You've got a bottle space that takes up a half-liter bottle. 1 liter bottle is going to be a bit of a struggle. You don't have any sunglasses on the top over here. On the radio system, if you go for the original one, so the radio area is a doubled-in, so you get the singled-in radio and a slight storage that's going to be also right below it. Underneath the steering wheel, you've got a small portion where you can put in your driver's license, extra keys, cards, and then underneath the 2 cup holders, you also have a place to place in your coins, which is really handy. Well, in Kenya, we don't really use coins as much, so you can figure out something else to put over there. No USB, no USB-C, no wireless. So best thing you can get is just a cigarette lighter connect. This is a Basius and it's a quick charge when you connect on your single device. Now with this particular Colt, I've had it for more than 3 years and I didn't realize that it had a secret storage space. And I'm guessing most drivers also don't know about the secret storage space. So on the front passenger chair, there's actually a tiny cabinet and massive storage. So when you just pull the cord and you open it up, you'll be able to find a space that says it's a maximum of 7 kilograms. So you can put in, let's say, if you've got books, if you've got things you want to keep out of sight. I would recommend putting a laptop or electronic devices. So if you're watching this video and you think you're going to get anything from this car, open up over there, you'll just find a bunch of papers. Glove compartment, fairly small, but it's quite deep. Works for me. I don't put so many things in there actually. And that actually leads me to the common problems I've got with this car. So problem number 1 is the glove compartment. The handles are very fragile and at times it just falls off. Now this isn't like an issue from what I have with the car, it's a common issue with Colts, but it doesn't fall off every single time, so don't stress on that end. Another common issue is, if you look at majority of the Colts, the door handles, some of them the paint is actually coming off, and this is the original paint, not when the car has been repainted. So if you see the door handles, the paint has come off, don't think it was in an accident or something. Windows, this is something I was told by my mechanic is a common issue with Mitsubishi cars. Sometimes the memory recall, it forgets what it's supposed to do. I mean, it would go down halfway and then it would freeze and decide, nah, I'm not gonna move, I'm just gonna stick over here. So that's another common problem, but it is possible to solve it. Another issue I have a personal gripe against is the plasticiness of the air vents. I mean, this thing really feels so cheap. Yes, the car is an affordable one. I mean, they didn't have to make it so cheap to the point that when you try and connect a car phone holder, some of the plastic pieces snap off. And I'm looking for the next car, the quality of the air vent, it has to be good quality. Steering wheel, it's nice, smooth and soft. It's not as hard as some of the Euro spec cars, whereby it's really stiff. When you're trying to turn it, you feel like you're in an F1 car, you're gymming. So it's pretty good for me, but some people say that it's not as responsive for them. But to each his own or her own. Pricing for the Mitsubishi Colt, you can be able to find one that goes as low as 300,000 and going all the way up to as high as 1 million on Gigi or on Facebook Marketplace. The other interesting thing about having a car like a Colt is a number of people consider it to be an Uber. Security guards, and sometimes when you stop at places to pick someone up, someone might think that you're the Uber here to pick them. So it's an interesting feature. I mean, overall feedback, would I recommend the Mitsubishi Colt? Yes. For families that are starting out, let's say if it's just the couple and a kid, or the couple and 2 kids, it's definitely worth it. It's a great driving experience. Just make sure you regularly service the car, and it should give you no problems at all. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and also like on the video and share it with anyone you think needs a Colt. Peace.